Hello everyone, my name is Laquan Williams, and in this video I wanted to talk about the past episode of The Flash, which was aired on this Tuesday, about 4 days ago. It was season 7, episode 8. It was entitled "The People vs. Killer Frost," which we saw Killer Frost on trial in court, and obviously the court and obviously the government were trying to put her behind obviously bars for her past crimes. And even though she hasn't done anything in 4 years, they wanted to make an example out of her and make sure people understood that obviously in different metahumans that she was going to be an example of what's going to happen to them if they decide to obviously go rogue in some type of way or become criminals, or decide if they want to stay criminals. Unfortunately, that was obviously the case. I thought that there was going to be a point in the episode where Caitlin Snow and Killer Frost were joined back together and spliced back together to be one person as they were before. And obviously Killer Frost was in Caitlin Snow's head as her, not just her best friend, but her consciousness and whatnot. But she was for obviously many years in her life, but that obviously was not the case. It turns out that they decided to take Killer Frost out of the equation and put her in jail for life. She was obviously threatened with the metahuman cure, but the Team Flash made sure that she didn't get it. She didn't get it because they ruined the samples that were at the Star City labs, obviously, of the police department. They were obviously coming up with ideas in the courtroom and outside the courtroom in their lab, obviously at Star Labs, to make sure that they could figure out a way to keep Caitlin Frost, Killer Frost, from obviously taking the metahuman cure. Caitlin Snow obviously destroyed it to make sure Killer Frost didn't have to take it and be forced to take it. So we saw that take place. What we also saw was Argus being involved in some type of way with the metahuman cure. Apparently, it was put together by them. Another one after the Team Flash destroyed the original ones at the Star City Police Department's evidence lockup slash locker. After that happened, so we also saw the Speed Force and Barry Allen having a issue with following directions and obviously establishing trust. And obviously in this episode we saw that take place, and what we can see now is that that's obviously not the case at all. The Speed Force didn't listen to Barry, and she ultimately went rogue and killed the girl who they believed and they found out was that big huge monster called Foreza was what they're calling her. I don't know what kind of name they thought that of, but she's supposed to be the Strength Force. I think that's much more easier. She killed her, and so she's gone, and the only people that are left are this kid who they haven't shown yet, but he has powers and abilities. And then there's Damien. I forgot the guy's name. It was Damien or Dwayne. Anyways, he's the time god or whatever. He was on it a couple episodes ago, and I think it was 2 episodes ago when Cisco and Chester went back into the 90s because they were trapped there in a time loop. They were forced back in time. It was out of their control. The guy who's the time god, he's the one that did it, obviously. That's obviously something that happened. The Speed Force obviously has gone rogue, so now Barry has to make a decision about that in the next week's episode, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, which would be season 7, episode 9. We also saw the rest of the team trying to figure out a way to get Killer Frost out of jail. They all, not all of them, Captain Joe S testified, Cecile was her lawyer, Cisco and Caitlin made sure that they were on the up and up when it came to hacking and figuring out everything they can about, obviously, this woman who was the head of the Metahuman Task Force that came into town at I believe the governor's request to get rid of rogue metahumans and use the cure on them, and they obviously as a way to punish them, not just jail time but experimentation, as you can see and believe. And Killer Frost made sure that she obviously went down for her crimes, but she said, "I'm not taking the cure, but I'll go to jail for prison. I'll go to jail and stay in prison forever," obviously. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I think that Killer Frost will eventually get out somehow. I don't know what will happen, but this show's obviously been having a lot of changes in their lineups and stuff. Ralph Dibny and Sue Dearborn, or Sue Dibny, will be back in some type of capacity. But what's going to happen is that whoever's playing him now is just never going to show their face. He's going to be in a that some type of Daft Punk helmet on that we saw a couple weeks ago, because that original actor that played him was fired off the show based off of the some past tweets that he had on that were uncovered on Twitter, and so he was kicked off the show last season at the end of season 6, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what happens with that. It's been confirmed that for the 150th episode, Barry Allen's daughter is going to come back, and obviously Bart Allen is going to be on the show, which is, I believe, her cousin in the future, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, his daughter is going to come back, and we're also going to see the return, just the return of Nora Allen West, but we're also going to see the debut of Bart Allen West as well. That's going to happen, so we'll see what takes place with that. We're also seeing other changes. It's been confirmed on a couple days ago, and it's right here, that Cisco Ramon and obviously Harrison Wells are no longer going to be on the show anymore. The actors that play them are Tom Cavanaugh and Carlos Valdez. Obviously, this is Tom Cavanaugh, aka Harrison Wells, Nash Wells, all the other different versions of Harrison Wells, and also Eobard Thawne, aka Reverse Flash, or they just call him Thawne. But he's worn different faces. The Reverse Flash, they're both leaving. So he left obviously episodes ago, and the last episode you saw with Nash Wells in it completely was obviously his bowed out episode. So it says that they're both going to be gone off the Flash as regular cast members, but they will be back in some type of capacity in the future. So that means obviously, it's Eobard, but I said it wrong. But if you've seen the episode, you obviously in the show, you know what obviously his name. So that means him and Camille are gonna probably get married and live some new life. Cisco, this was established obviously a couple of years ago, I believe, when he decided to take the metahuman cure and no longer be Vibe. He took it, so he no longer has his powers. So that was something that he did years ago when they stated that he wanted to live a regular life. That's something that he said, and that was also talked about in this episode with Killer Frost and obviously Caitlin Snow, when she's told her when Killer Frost was told by Caitlin Snow, you should have a regular life now. It's not, there's nothing wrong with that. It shouldn't be a problem, but obviously Caitlin was told by Killer Frost that she does not want to change who she is to please other people because she's comfortable with it. So we'll see what happens with that. This is on Tom Cavanaugh's Instagram account that he put out a couple of weeks ago. Said that he had a great part playing Wells on the show. It's been very fun. Obviously he's bowing out. It's very weird to see both of them leave obviously, but so at the end of this season, which is season 7, I believe, Carlos Valdez character, which is Cisco Ramon, will be gone. Him and Camille, his girlfriend, are probably gonna get married or probably gonna move out of the city. Chester will be taking his place. I don't know who's taking over for Nash Wells, aka Harrison Wells. They'll be back in some episodes, obviously, because just like with all superhero shows, even when people die, they come back. When people leave the show, they come back in some type of capacity. They'll be on for 1 or 2 episodes and make guest appearances, so we'll see what happens with that. No one's taken over, obviously, Harrison Wells' Wells' place, or Nash Wells' place in the team. Killer Frost is gone because she's in jail, so basically I'm thinking, because of the lineup switch, they don't have Sue Dearborn or Ralph Dibny on there as regulars, so I'm trying to see if the show's going to have them come back on the CW network and make sure that they're obviously there in some type of capacity, or if when the 150th episode happens in a couple weeks, is Nora Allen West going to be coming back onto the show as a regular, and obviously with the added addition of adding on Bart Allen to the show, will he obviously be a regular cast member, or will he be a recurring cast member and they just have her on? Because as we currently see, the only person that can help Barry Allen in the field and obviously on the streets of Star City when he fights is Allegra. Other than that, no one else can help him right now. Everybody else is regular citizen slash regular, obviously, human being. The only person that can help him is Allegra, and obviously Cecile. But Cecile's not. She obviously has her mind reading abilities. She doesn't have any powers to obviously help Barry Allen. So I'm guessing that's probably what's going to happen now that they're bringing back Nora Allen West, who's obviously a speedster and Barry Allen's daughter, to him, and obviously his wife, Iris West Allen. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's what's going to happen. So it explains it right here in Deadline in an article that was published a couple days ago on May 4th. It says the original Flash cast members Tom Cavanaugh and Carlos Valdez exit the CW series after 7 seasons. It's pretty crazy to see them both leave at the same time, but we'll see what happens on that. It says right here that Tom Cavanaugh might appear in episode 9 and 10, but beyond that, his final appearance this season is being kept a surprise. There are no current plans for Cavanaugh to continue. We did see a Reverse Flash come out in some type of way months ago, so I'm assuming that he'll be back in some type of capacity to play him. And probably before this season's over, season 7, but we don't know what's obviously going to happen with that. Obviously, but it sucks that's the case. But they'll be back in some type of way and make guest appearances in the on the show in the future. I'd like to see Wally West come back too in some type of way, but we'll see what happens. There's always team ups. There's always other shows that these people are on, actors, and we'll see what happens with that. But that's basically it. The show was fun. It was this week. The episode was very entertaining. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the Speed Force going forward. So the metahuman cure is obviously something that the government obviously Argus can use against the metahumans / superheroes on the show. I don't know if the lady from the task force is going to be coming back in some type of way in the future to go after other metahumans. Killer Frost is obviously in jail for life. I don't know if she's ever going to get out, but yeah, it's kind of weird how they did all this. Killer Frost is gone, and then in the same episode, same week, we learned that now Harrison Wells and obviously Cisco are going to be gone too. So we'll see what happens with that, obviously. That's why Chester was brought on last season as a replacement for Cisco when he leaves. So that's what's going to be taking place, obviously. So that's going to be it for my review. I don't know if you've ever watched The Flash or if you've seen any of the episodes. We'll see what happens, obviously, before the season's over. Obviously, they renewed for season 8, but these two guys, obviously, Tom Cavanaugh and Carlos Valdez, will not be coming back as regular cast members, obviously, and / regular occurring. So we'll see what happens with that, obviously, and what happens when they have other potential, like I said, team ups and obviously crossovers going into this summer with the Superman and obviously DC Legends of Tomorrow, and that's basically it. Superman and Lois, DC Legends of Tomorrow, and that's basically it. Oh, and what's that one show? Stargirl, yeah, because Supergirl's over now. So and the Green Arrow's gone too. So we'll see what happens with that. That's all I have to say about this. Let me know what you have to think about this episode and review, and obviously the show if you've been watching it, to see what's been happening with now that these two cast members are going to be gone, and what's going to happen when they bring back obviously Nora Allen West and now that they're going to have Bart Allen on the show to make his first appearance. Is he going to be a regular cast member, or is it just for a couple episodes to see how things go, and maybe they make him a regular cast member next season in season 8? That's all I have to say in regards to the Flash's season 7 episode 8 review, and also which is titled Killer Frost versus the People versus Killer Frost. Obviously in the courts down there in Star City, and obviously the other news that happened, which is 2 original cast members are going to be gone off the show after this season's over. Yeah, obviously they'll be in a couple more episodes, but they're gone. It's weird how it happened, but that's just how it is, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens with that. Thank you again for watching. That's all I have to say about this. Again, bye. Thanks.